All right. Good evening, everyone. Konbanwa, minasan. It says we're live, and it's Super Kami Guru Alucard here with another episode of live album discussions. We are getting now to my 16th solo album and 21 as a whole if you count the 5 jazz band albums, not including Higher Standards, which is more like a live performance mixtape. But yeah, that's the solo album so far. And then of course, um we have more in store, right? So, as we get into this track listing, as I was discussing in the comments, one thing I've noticed is if I look back and reflect on an album of the past, I can usually tell how I was feeling based on the kind of songs I made. Bieber, hi, thank you for tuning in. But yeah, so with this album, I could tell I was there was times I was feeling a bit of romance, and there was also times I was feeling kind of pissed off. And you guys will get the gist of that as I break down the track listing and the title. So the first track, the album starts off with Filipina Frauds, which is a track basically talking about how there's lots of Filipina chicks who like me, but they want money, or they want me to spend money to come to their country and all this, and don't want to come here, and they play games and try to use me, and it's just not cool, you know what I'm saying? So that track is kind of a response summarizing some of the more notorious ones that I've had to deal with, and then also just highlighting the concept that these women there really need to stop doing that, because they not only making a bad reputation for their country but for women in general by doing that. And there's enough people doing that in North America. We don't need that on an international level, you dig? Now, this beat was a Tone Jones beat. I really like the beat to it. It was also inspired by ideas from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, and the original Japanese theme song. I interpolate for the chorus of the song because it relates to the idea like I fly at higher games. I don't play these games. I play the game my own way. You dig? So I ain't playing games with these Filipino frauds, right? So yeah, that's what it's about. And then the outro, where I sample a bit of scratching and put some interludes of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged Season 0. Man, that has got some of the funniest dialogue ever. Like, I was listening to that the other day, and I couldn't help but howl. I'm like, man, that is a crazy outro, because it sounds so intense and wild. And I cut the conversation, so it sounds like it could be talking about something more vague than what it was in the show. So it sounds like it could be referring to the song, even though originally the dialogue wasn't from that. The way I cut and edited it, it sounds like it could be like they're trying to play me. I'm showing them that's not how you play me. And you don't really want to try to play me like that, because I'm on some crazy other level shit, right? So, yeah, that's why I dig that track. And then for the second track, My Wife for Life, Ayaka Hirahara Tameni, in brackets. Now, that track, another Tone Jones beat, very smooth, got a jazzy groove, because it's dedicated to a singer that I met. Well, I didn't really meet her officially, but I never heard of her until I went there, and I went and attended a sumo wrestling event. And she was a guest to come and chop off some of the hair, because that's what they do when a sumo wrestler is retiring. And then she performed a couple songs. I never heard her before. Very beautiful lady, very beautiful voice. And she also plays saxophone, which when I found that out, I was like, oh man, this is a girl after my own heart. She got all the qualities I would dig in a woman, right? I'm like, she could play sax. She's beautiful. She's Japanese. She's an artist who can sing really good. So I was like, yo, this is the picture of the ideal wife that I would dig and want, right? So that's what the song's about. It's kind of got like an R&B jazz vibe to it. I really love that one because it's smooth. Actually, I sent her the song, and she actually, well, she didn't really give me her thoughts on it. Maybe translation error. She couldn't speak English that well, I'm assuming. But when she seemed to understand that I had, made the song for her and posted the link commenting on her page, she actually hearted the comment. So, you know what I mean? She digging it. She respecting that I made her a song. And, that's the best you can hope for in a case like that. So happy with that one. And that's why I say this album is really two sides of the coin, because there's some songs that are mad dark and talk about issues that, like, provoked anger or sorrow. And then there's other songs that are really positive, upbeat, and cool. So that's the second track. The third track, Last Smoke, was a menthol. So because I smoke menthols, as y'all can tell, I'm smoking a cigarette right now. When I do quit, and I do plan to quit one day, I'm working on cutting down gradually. The whole goal of that is that my last smoke will be a menthol for two reasons. First of all, I like it because, your breath doesn't smell as bad when you smoke menthols because of the minty stuff they put into it, which is actually interesting because when I was in Japan, I found out that I don't know if it's like this for all menthol cigarettes, but the menthol cigarettes in Japan are actually made with real mint. Like I actually had a pack of Cools there, right? And the pack of Cools on it said made with real Hokkaido mint. I don't know if other menthol cigarettes are, but I thought that was so cool because I never knew that. I thought it was some sort of chemical they put in it to give it a minty taste, which in some cases that might be. But in Japan, the menthols there are made with real Hokkaido mint. So I thought that was dope. And plus, another reason I like the menthols too, they're smooth on the throat, and it's actually what my man Nat King Cole smoked. May he rest in peace. That was his thing. So that's why I really got into him. And especially when I was in Japan, I was smoking a lot of menthols, right? So I just kind of got used to them. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna smoke menthols from now on. So even though I smoke reserves, I smoke reserve menthols, which now in Canada, there is no name brand menthols. So to get menthols, period, you have to smoke reserves. But I don't mind. They good cigarettes. I smoke I'm gonna show you the pack. Sorry for the train. These trains, I swear they're a bunch of faggots just beating each other off in the train car, sucking each other's dicks. They just like to fucking drive by whenever the fuck I'm doing my show and all that, and then stop, park behind the house, and just get off on each other because they a bunch of fags. And they fucking assholes because they literally show up whenever they want, any time of day. It's just crazy because, like, what's nuts about that is, like, yo, you'll be waiting, expecting a train to go all day, like the way people have a 9 to 5 job, right? Right. So you have a 9 to 5 job, but with these assholes, you won't see a train or hear one all day. And then you'll have 3 to 4 showing up at like one at 3 in the morning, one at 4 in the morning, then one at 5. And then the next day, you might have one in the afternoon. You might have one at 2 in the morning, one at 6 in the morning again. So they're all over the fucking place. That's what's annoying. It's like, yo, dudes, you're waking people up. Pick a normal 9 to 5 schedule and show up with these motherfucking trains consistently. So that way, if we trying to record music or we trying to do our thing, do our talk shows like we are now, at least we have a heads up, a warning, right? But they so inconsistent. Like I said, I didn't know this fucking train was gonna show up. They literally pick when the fuck they want to show up. You would think they tap in my house and they say, "Oh, he's starting to show. Let's drive a train down the tracks right now." I know they ain't, but you would think because they always seem to show up at the worst times, right? To answer your question, no, I'm not in Alberta. But yeah, back to what I was saying before the train threw me off my groove. Like, yeah, I dig the menthols. As I was saying too, like this is the kind of smoke. They're reserves. They're called Cheyennes, right? But yeah, only reserves you can get in Canada, so it's dope. I dig it. So yeah, that's why I say, like, when I quit, the last smoke will be a menthol. And the song's kind of explaining like that. Now that's a beat I made myself, whereas the first two were both Tone Jones beats. The next one was produced by that German guy Max. You Drive Me Crazy. And see, this is what I was talking about in the description. This is gonna be time to expose some corruption and give all the people that is chilling in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, a fair warning and a heads up. because I feel it's necessary, yo. That song, You Drive Me Crazy, was written and made for that Samantha Dickson chick that I talked about in the last episode of Live Album Discussions. And that was made before she started playing me. Because I made her a song back in high school. She lost it. She wanted another song, so I made it. And it wasn't until she started playing me that I made World's Biggest Cunt. But you know what? Something happened with this chick via email that I gotta let y'all know. Just so, any people in Hamilton who know her or might be messing with her, or she might try to, mat game on you, y'all got to be careful. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? So, check this. With this chick, she has pretended to like me and led me on since high school, right? At first, she would give me some dumb excuse like she only likes black guys. And then that changed, right? Like, she's just all over the place with that shit. But she said she liked me. And, yada, yada, yada. And then there was one time back in high school when she actually offered to sleep with me, like have sex with me. This was back when I was still a virgin. So this is a long time ago. I mean, I'm way past that. My body count is up in the 20s at this point, just so y'all know. But this was very early, right around high school time. And she offered me $1,000 to sleep with her. I didn't have it, but I liked her. I probably would have at the time if I had that kind of dope. But I was in high school, man. I didn't even have an album out, nothing. I wasn't working. How was I going to get $1,000? And then, okay, so she stayed in touch with me. She's told me this dramatic sob story about how her baby daddy got two other women pregnant and he beats her and all this, and she couldn't get the money from him. So, over time, I ended up giving her $900. And the last time I gave her 200, which I had given her 700 before that. But she would only show up to get the money, right? So I even asked her, I said, are you only like pretending to like me? Because she was saying how she wanted to date me and she could tell I was a good guy and she recognized my feelings as true and all this. But she just wouldn't show up unless I had money for her, right? I even had Japanese souvenirs I got for her that she never came to pick up because there was no money that I was going to give her with them. You dig? So that's when I started to notice something. So, but before then, when I gave her the 200 and I asked her, and see, this is my biggest problem with this bitch, because I said, look, if you just need help, if you just need the money, tell me. Don't play me. Don't try to make me a fool and pretend to like me, because that ain't cool. You need help, fine. I like you enough, I'll help you. But be straight up with me. Don't lie to me, right? And she said, no, 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 I really do. And then has never come back to see me since. Now, check this too. And she tried to, play the narcissist role, like I said in the last video too, when I was talking about this, right? So when I would call her out on it, she'd say, "Oh, you're crazy. You have mental disorders. You're just being angry with me, and you're making all this stuff out to be like." And then she's like, "Oh, well, you don't got a car, you don't got a phone, like you're not really that rich, you're successful, all this shit." And I explained in the last video my reasons for that, right? I have reasons why I choose not to have those things. So you dig? But anyways, yeah, she's trying to like start shit with me. So I'm like, yo, don't try to insult me and don't try to lie to me or play to me, because I said this to her. I said, I have conversation proof of you saying you would have slept with me for $1,000 back in high school. I also have, when I was talking to her, this was probably before I gave her the last 200, right? She said, "Oh, I wish I could find a sugar daddy. I would sleep with them if they gave me $10,000. She said this to me. And then she tried to deny that she said it. I'm like, no, 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 you said this to me. And I remember because she sent me this video during this conversation, around the same time of this conversation, where she was wearing a red outfit. See how good my memory is? I know that shit so well. Um, and yeah, she was wearing a red outfit and she was asking my opinion because I guess she had to do some assignment where it was like an acting class. Maybe not like an acting class, but as part of this class, she had to do like some sort of acting skit or whatever. So she was getting my feedback on it because, I did a bit of acting. I got the short form The short film Tanabata I did, directed by yours truly. Cinematographer was my old next door neighbor. It was pretty cool, right? So I had a bit of acting experience, and I gave her my thoughts on it. I said, yeah, you should probably loosen up a bit. You're a bit stiff with it, you know, being real. But said, okay, other than that, yeah, you made it convincing. Just loosen up a bit. You got to sell it and make it more natural. You can't be so uptight, right? But then she said this shit about the $10,000 and the sugar daddy, right? So when I called her out on that, she's like, "Oh, you're just making stuff up. Why are you accusing me of all this?" Like, and I'm like, "Bitch, I didn't say it in the email, but I was thinking. I'm like, bitch, I got the fucking conversation saved. Don't try to tell me I'm a liar because I could show that shit to people all around town and put your ass on blast. Because I do. And you know what's funny? Here's the funny thing. When I pointed that out, then she starts being nice because she knows I got her. You see what I'm saying? She knows I got her. And she trying to brush me off saying, "Oh, when I get a job, I'll pay you back." And then she'll just ghost me for weeks. Like, even after she started apologizing and say, "Oh, okay, maybe we should just take a day off of a break and then we'll talk about this another day." So the next day I'm like, "Okay, you said a day. Let's talk about it. It ain't about the money, but I want you to stop lying to me. I want you to admit the truth." She's still ignoring me. So you know what? That's why I'm doing this show with y'all. That's why I decided I was going to put this bitch on blast tonight. And I'm gonna say, yo, she is a fucking gold digging hoe. She trying to play my ass. She's probably doing it to other men. So if you're in the Hamilton area and you fuck with that blonde head cunt fucking Samantha Dickson, watch out, cause she playing your ass. I guarantee. Cause she does this shit. She says these fucked up things, and then I don't know. Maybe she like fucking she's lost her fucking marbles, or she drinks or does drugs and doesn't know what the fuck she's saying. But she's saying that shit. And you know what? I have a photographic memory. I don't forget that shit. I didn't even have to look into the conversations to remember those things. That's why I told you the whole red outfit shit, right? I can remember that shit. I remember shit very vividly like that. When somebody says something to you fucked up like that, like, "Oh, I'd want a sugar daddy and I'd pay them $10,000 to let him sleep with me." And I'm trying to look the other way. Like, I'm like, damn, you want it like that? Shit, you shouldn't be that desperate. Like, I'm willing to help you, but 10 grand? Like, fuck, man. I don't even know many guys that would do that if they had. I'll put it this way: if I had 10 grand, I certainly wouldn't fucking give it to her for her used up pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch is crazy. But I still try to be nice and help her. But that wasn't good enough. My $900 wasn't good enough. It was good enough to pretend to like me and take it and play me for a sucker, but it wasn't good enough to even fucking kiss me or nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, yo, that bitch is a trifling ass gold digging hoe. And y'all better watch out. If y'all in Hamilton and you know her, stay away from her. Don't fucking trust her. She's a hoe. And she can sit there and play the victim all she wants. If people really don't believe me, I'll show them the fucking conversations. I don't give a fuck. I'm smart. I keep records of that shit. When you say some fucked up shit like that to me, I'm going to remember it. But I'm also going to keep a record of it because that's the kind of wild shit that nobody's going to believe unless you got proof, right? So it's like, but like I said, think about it this way: without showing y'all proof, what does it say when I bring that up and I told her I got proof? And then she starts being nicey nicey all before ghosting me again. Hmm? She trying to sweep it under the rug. She trying to play like she didn't, but she knows I got her ass. I got fucking proof. And think about this. How would her family feel, miss? I go to church every Sunday. I'm acting like a good, celibate Christian woman trying to raise my daughter and all this shit when it's phony bullshit. How would everybody who knows her, family included, feel? And why do you think she got rid of Facebook? Why do you think she got rid of all social media? I'll tell you why she did. She did because she's probably fucking with a bunch of dudes, getting them for money, pretending them like them. So that's why I say, watch out. Fellas, watch out for that bitch. Don't trust her. She's shady. And she can ignore me all she wants. But you know what? I'll just keep talking about her. And you know what? rumors will fly, word will spread, and eventually that shit's gonna come back to haunt you because you can't fuck good dudes over and expect to get away with that. That's why I get mad when bitches complain that like there are no good men left in the world when they go and fuck with these assholes. Like this, let's say this story is true about the abusive baby daddy, which I saw pictures with her daughter. I can believe that. Okay, so you got pregnant with this pathetic fucking small dick asshole, got two other bitches pregnant. He beats you and yeah, that's okay. You'll fuck this motherfucker, have a kid with him, and all this. But I ain't good enough. I ain't fucking getting mad bitches pregnant. I ain't hitting women. Fuck is that shit? You know what I'm saying? So they can't sit there and say there ain't no good men. Y'all choose to date assholes. That's your own fucking fault. It don't mean we ain't out there. Y'all just ignore us. Y'all want something dangerous and on the edge because it's fucking stimulating and erotic and fucking exciting and it's some sort of dumb fucking female fantasy that they want dangerous motherfuckers. When guess what? That shit don't work in the long run. So y'all can't say they ain't no good men. Y'all just pick fucking assholes, and that's your own damn fault. You should try picking a nice, genuine guy. Now, you know what? I keep it real, and I could be raw, and I can be intense. But for the most part, as long as a woman is good to me, I can be a gentleman. You dig? And that's what I say. That's the difference between abuse and fucking baby daddy ass cock who can fucking go get two other women pregnant. But he better than me in her eyes, right? Because he got to hit it. Fuck no. That motherfucker's a loser. Women choose these fucking asshole loser motherfuckers. They can't sit there and say there's no good men. Y'all don't pick good men intentionally. But anyways, that's why I needed to get that off my chest and put that bitch on blast. And also, expose her, but put a warning out there for anybody who's in the Hamilton area. Like, watch out for her. She's fucking shiesty, man. I don't trust her. The fact that all this shit's coming to light, I guarantee she's into some scandal ass shit. And you know what? That's why I almost wanted to email her and fucking curse her out saying, look, you ghosted me again. Do you want me to fucking start exposing you? But then I was like, you know what? Nah. I'm a gentleman. I'm a cool on it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to put you on blast and expose you in my show. But I ain't even bothering to email that bitch because the way I see it, it's like longtime member Abs Up in here always says, you know, I dodged a bullet in that case. And I totally agree with that. I feel you, man. So that's what I'm saying. But yeah, shout outs to B Berg too. Love Nat King Cole. Nat King Cole is the man for reals. Yeah. So, anyways, that's what you drive me crazy if you listen to that album's about. It's about her, and that song was made because she asked me to do it. And I tried to make, a nice song as a gentleman, but then, she takes my money, abuses her like, hold over me because of feelings going back all the way to high school. So that's why, like, you'll notice I made a song that's nice and I made a song that's bad because it all depends on how you treat me. I can make the most wonderful song about you, or I can make the most fucking devastating song to diss you and tear you a new asshole. It's up to you on how you treat me because I will take every experience, whether good or bad, and I'll find a way to make a song about it. Because that was even advice my Buddhist mentor gave me. He said, hey, if you could take every experience, good and bad, and make a song about it, you're still getting something good out of it. Even if it's a rotten experience, you getting something good out of it. So those are words I live by. Shout outs to my Buddhist mentor, James. He's the man. And he actually appears on a song on SKGA Goes to Japan under the name Machete called Fear the Unknown. We also had Keith Murray doing the intro and Melon the dog on the cover barking in the intro. So yeah, it's a wild, dope track. And then yeah, so that was track number 4. So track number 5, Wanker's Cramp, is another Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged because I love how they made Bakura's character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged even more badass than the original show, and he was one of my favorites. Like he has the deck when I play Yu-Gi-Oh that I love to play with the most because his deck, it's just got such crazy dark supernatural cards that it's like, I'll put it this way, if I'm playing with Bakura's deck, I never lose. I have never lost a duel once when I play with Bakura's deck because I'm just a master at playing with that deck. I have 16 different decks. I talked about the dueling club. Unfortunately, I still ain't got members to join and all that. But if I did, you damn right I'd be playing with Bakura's deck because that's my strength. But I got decks for a lot of the original characters, and I'd love to have that one day. I just ain't met enough people into it within the Hamilton area who would like to play. But anyways, yeah, and she criticized me too for not having thousands of views, right? So I'm still getting paid royalties. People think I don't make no money off my music. Do you know when I was in Japan, I got two amounts of $50 music royalties just being in Japan. People were listening to my music more. And I made $50 one week. The next week, I made another $50. Just word of mouth. Oh, check out Super Kami Guru Alucard's music while we're in Japan. Going all over the place, right? People were listening to it. They were digging it. And guess what? I got paid. Now, that might not seem like much, but when you get little small amounts here and there, it adds up. So they can't say I don't make nothing off it. I do. I'm not a big star. So to make anything at all when I'm practically unknown is pretty good. And here's the thing, with the more albums I put out there, the more my royalties increase. So there is a method to my madness by, swarming the industry with quantity. There is a strategy to that because eventually I'm going to have 500 albums and I'll have more albums than any other rapper living or dead. And they ain't going to be able to ignore me. They're going to have to put my ass in the Guinness Book of World Records and then I'll be famous. So I got a plan. There's a method to my madness. It ain't all crazy. I have a strategy, you dig? But yeah, Wanker's Cramp has got this funky, like, it's got this funky, like, old school, big jazz kind of Neptune's mixed beat to it. I love it. It's kind of like a funny song about how like bitches be giving dudes wankers cramp, and it's the most deadly of all British diseases, like Bakura says, as a joke, because y'all play too many games, so many men are left, with wankers crap as a result. It's real shit because that's how the world is nowadays. It's so hard to date. People get fucked over with scammers and fake accounts online. Nobody meets anybody anymore. So yeah, man, I guarantee there's thousands of men out there dealing with wankers cramp. And let me tell you something, that ain't cool. That shows you that, you know what, if this shit keeps up, the human race is eventually going to go to extinct unless we undo the damage that this wanker's cramp syndrome is inflicting on mass society. So it's a real serious issue. It's funny how I'm saying it like that, and I'm kind of presenting it in a lighthearted, like funny comedic manner. But there is a serious issue to it underneath the root of it all. And that's kind of like some Lily Allen shit. Really deep, serious issue, but light, funny kind of music and instrumentation. So yeah, there's a Lily Allen vibe going on. I love Lily Allen. So yeah, that's why I say like that's almost like a Lily Allen sort of satirical view of a serious issue. So yeah, I dig that. And then track number 6, A Friend Who's There For Me, which is a song about my ex-girlfriend Haruna's daughter. Because when I was there, she sat there, she would listen to me, I would talk to her about all the stuff that's going on for me. And even though she didn't understand English perfectly, I could type in Japanese or try to speak Japanese to her in a way she could understand. But she was very supportive, she was very kind and nice to me. And she, like, according to Haruna, she would actually talk to me more than she ever talks to other boys. And she doesn't even have a lot of friends. Yet she liked to think that she was a good friend to me and she appreciated that we were friends and all that. And I thought, that's very sweet. It's cute. It's innocent. And I mean, she was great on It's an Adventure. If y'all ain't heard that, go check out that track for sure. Not It's an Adventure, sorry. Another Adventure. It's an Adventure is the song I made for Haruna. But the funny thing is, Mina knows that song because that's Haruna's daughter. She knows that song by heart and she'll rap it all the time. She knows every word to that song, and even though a lot of it's in English, some of it's in Japanese, she'll rap and sing that song by heart. She loves it. And then she could play a bit of piano, right? So after I left, she loved dancing in the Time Breaker music video, and Haruna could hear her playing on her keyboard like Time Breaker, like do 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 like, and I'm laughing because I'm like, oh shit, man, she's getting into the music. But yeah, that's why she's cool. And that song, it's not even just about her, it's about, like, the whole friendships that I attained there, Haruna's family. Like Mina, it is kind of about her most, because she really became a very nice, sweet friend to me while I was there, and I really appreciated that, like talking to her, having her support me. So that's the vibe with that one. Now, Wanker's Cramp, that one was produced by me, whereas A Friend Who's There for Me, that was produced by Hot Rod again. And then same with R.I.P. Grandpa McKee. The next track, still TPG, that's got a hell of a story to it. But that was Do Tanuki, and Dark Cloud Part 3 was Lone Wolf. Our Romance was All Me. But okay, let's get through the last four tracks and explain what all of them are about. So this year, well, not this year, but after I got back to Japan, back from Japan, I was in Canada. I was trying to call my grandpa because before I left, and I talked to him right before I found out he died. I promised him I was gonna, take pictures in Japan. I was gonna send them to him. I had his wife's email. He said send them there. He would look at them. He'd never been to Japan. He'd been to many places. He'd been to like China and all these different countries all over the world, but he'd never been to Japan. So I was gonna take pictures and send them to him. And then I come back. I tried calling him, no answer. Like nobody picked up. I started to think like, oh, maybe something happened because he was old, right? And he had had an operation before then he said he went to he had to go to the hospital too, even before that. And I was like, "Are you okay?" Like I even asked him then, like, "Are you okay?" And he kind of brushed it off and laughed. He said, "Yeah, no, no, I'm fine. I'm fine." Maybe he didn't want to ruin my trip, but he knew, right? Because he knew I was going. He knew I was excited. I was going to take pictures for him, and yeah, like you know, he said that, and then I come back and I kept trying to get a hold of him because he lives in Florida, right? He lives far away from me. I'm all the way up here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. He's out in Florida. So I'm trying to get in touch with him. Nobody picked up. And I even left a message, nothing. And then eventually his lawyer called me to tell me he passed and that he left me something in his will, which, as far as I know, they're still working out all the details with that. I haven't really heard any updates or know what's going on with that. But, that's what I've been hearing. And they explained that to me, and it was just a shock because I'm like, Grandma Lee didn't bother to tell me. None of the other members of, like, my dad's side of the family told me. Like, nobody told me until the lawyer told me. And that broke my heart. Like, it ain't even about the money. I loved my grandpa. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even said this in that song. Like, I would have traded all the money just to have had a little more time with him. I would have loved to share those pictures with him. When I emailed him and all that, nobody responded to the email, but I sent him those pictures from Japan. I would have loved to just talk to him about it and be like, hey, what do you think? It's really pretty there, right? It was a blast. I love talking to him. I mean, he would send me money, for Christmas and my birthday all the time. But that wasn't even the reason I stayed in touch with him. I just like to, talk to him and see how he's doing because he was the only member on my dad's side of the family. Because my dad died when I was 12 years old, right? My real birth father. So I never really had much of a relationship with him or anybody on my dad's side other than grandpa. So when he died, man, like that broke my heart because I was always putting in effort. And it's not because I wanted anything from him. I wanted to stay in touch with him. Like, that's Gramps, and he was the only one on my dad's side that I had much of a relationship with. And I used to love telling him about all the stuff I was doing. I tell him about how I started playing saxophone. I told him how excited I was when I started playing sax. I started telling him when I first made the music, how I took an online university course, how I was really expanding my business as a recording artist with my own label. Like he was always rooting for me, cheer me on. He was happy to hear that stuff. So we had a good relationship, and I always loved to, tell him what was going on with me and always hear how he was doing. And he was always doing fly shit. I mean, the man was a successful businessman. He was always taking cruises and trips, and he was living it up. And when he told me he wasn't going to be able to travel that much anymore, he was just getting too old and his health wasn't so good. I was sad because I was like, man, his health must be starting to go down. I kind of knew, right? But when it hit, was such a shock. So that's why R.I.P. Grandpa McKee was my tribute. It was a way of mourning the loss. It was a very deep song. Thanks for your condolences. I appreciate that, B Berg. And that's why I'm saying, like, that song, it ain't on some like gangster shit. It ain't on some like intense, crazy stuff. It ain't on any romance or trying to charm a chick. That really is a sad, mournful tribute of a song because, you know, it's just sad that I didn't even get to hear from any of the family that he passed. I had to hear from the lawyer. And that's why I say I just wish I had gotten more time with him because I didn't even get to say goodbye. I mean, I guess looking back on the last time we talked when he said he had just gotten out of the hospital. Sorry about that. Let me have a sip of coffee. My throat's a bit dry. There we go. So, yeah, I guess I should have known that something, wasn't right. But I guess he just didn't want to spoil my trip, and that's why he didn't tell me. But yeah, that was a sad blow for me. And I'll put it this way. When didn't answer my calls and I left a message and he didn't respond, I kind of already sensed and feared the worst even before the lawyer called me. Like, I just had a feeling. I'm like, he's gone. And that's why I say the most hard part about it all is I just wish I had gotten a chance to talk to him one more time, say goodbye, talk to him about the pictures. That was hard for me. So that's why I made the song. I mean, R.I.P. Grandpa McKee because, that was real. That was right from the heart. And then still TPG, that's actually we sampled the Gerudo Valley theme from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time from the beat, but the lyrics and the idea of that song go back to a song I did on a mixtape when I was still recording like on sound recorder with an MSN mic on a computer back in high school. I did a song called Still TPG because that used to be my rap name, which first it was 12 phosphor, well, it was 12 gauge, then it evolved into 12 phosphorus gauge. So I'm saying, even though I've evolved, my name's changed, I'm still the same TPG that had this, ambition and strive to make it with my music and really make the real deal with my art. So that's the, evolution. I've changed. I'm Super Kami Guru Alucard, but at heart, I'm still that TPG that has grown wiser and still fighting to make the art the way I wanted it to be. So that's what's real about that song. It's 100% real. Now, the next song, which that one was produced completely by me, I actually wrote the lyrics, right? I wrote the lyrics to that and sang them after talking to a woman named Keiko, who was, this Japanese woman I met on Japanese Cupid. And hold on one second. I'm just gonna respond to Haruna. She said her job interview is finished. How did it go? Hopefully it went well for her. She said she had a job interview. I guess she's switching companies because she does like a lot of temp work and stuff around. But yeah, with our romance, so I wrote this lyrics like on the spot because I was trying to charm this girl. It was the first girl who like first lady, I should say, because she's an older woman who like, I had a decent conversation with, and then we became friends on Facebook, but I met her on Japan Cupid. Now she's saying she's reconnecting with some old boyfriend from America that she hasn't met. He ghosted her before. She's just all over the place. It's like she ain't even gonna come see me or none of that when she said originally she would. So, but originally I was trying to charm her. I made that song. I wrote that on the spot because I did really like her. Like, even though she's older and all that, She's very pretty. She's good looking. She's got a fit body and seemed cool. Plus, she had really good English skills. So I thought, okay, there's some potential there. So the song is kind of a what if our romance had blossomed kind of vibe to it, right? So yeah, that's what that song's about. And like I said, I literally wrote that just right on the spot. Like I'll put it this way. I wrote it and then recorded it. Like that's how on the fly it was. It wasn't like I practiced it. I wrote it, had the beat sitting there. Like I literally wrote the lyrics, made the beat, recorded me singing the lyrics to it, and just boom. And there was a track that was originally going to get put on this album that didn't make the cut. Excuse me, burp. There was a track that was supposed to be on this album that didn't get finished in time. I was going to put Stars and Dreams, which will come out on Revival, on this record, but the producer took 7 months to mix and master this shit. So I'm waiting. I'm like, man, I need that song. Like this gonna be the last song for Dark Clouds Volume 3. Like, I need this song. Where's this song? Yo. Still didn't have it. So I'm like, I need another song. He ain't, who knows when the hell he's going to give it to me. Thank God I have it now, which is why I'm finishing up the last song for Revival on Wednesday. And when that's all finished, I'm going to master the other tracks, put it down. And then in the next couple months, we're going to release that album and two other albums, the instrumental jazz album, the compositions, and Dynamic Duo, which is an album I recorded with a Japanese flute player. So they all coming soon. But yeah, like I said, I was stuck. I needed another replacement song because his producer didn't have Stars and Dreams in time. So with this situation with Keiko, I decided, okay, I'll write a song like that. And it essentially became a what if kind of filler track to fill the void that was missing to make it a full 10 tracks. So that's how that all came about. So everything was made on the fly. Literally wrote the lyrics, made the beat, sang the lyrics to it, and boom, song was born. And then the final track, which as I said, that was produced by let's see. Okay, yeah. So Still TPG was Lone Wolf. Dark Cloud Part 3 was Dotanuki. Yeah, I was getting that mixed up. So, okay, with Dark Clouds Volume 3, it's kind of a summary of the first two parts because if you listen to all three of these songs, they all could connect because they're all telling similar stories, like right? Like the first song focuses more on the first game of Dark Cloud. The second song focuses more on the second, but there's tie-ins between the two. The third kind of combines them all, and it also presents the idea of what a third Dark Cloud could possibly be like in my imagination if there was such a thing. It's got some great samples from Dark Cloud 2 in the intro and outro, talking about origin points and stuff, and I really dig it. And yeah, like that was a really cool, grand finale track to end the album, especially since it's Dark Clouds Volume 3. We had Dark Clouds Part 3 as the final song. So every album has a part of that. And like I said, I would love to, hear people's response because this was intended sort of as like the grand, like architectural blueprint of all this, to sit there and actually listen to all three songs back to back, like part one from volume one, part two from volume two, and then part three from volume three. I would love it because I feel like, you guys will hear that they all kind of fit together, that it would almost be like a trilogy to play all three of these songs back to back. So there you have it. That's Dark Clouds Volume 3. I hope y'all enjoyed live album discussions. As for where we're going next, on Thursday, I am going to do the next Stephen King review, which will be The Shining, which I promised, and I've been kind of delaying doing, but that'll come. And then next week, I will do the live album discussions for the Jazz and Blues album, and that will catch us up. Actually, you know what? There is one other one I'll do after that. I am gonna do another one for Hood Tales from the Shadow Realm. That would have originally become the 19th solo album, but because they forced my hand and wouldn't release it, and I had to just kind of make it a giveaway album on YouTube, because of dealing with TuneCore and Colton the Asshole. I mean, I'm gonna do a live albums discussion just to go through it and tell y'all what the process was of making it and what each track really means and symbolizes to me. Because it's fun to, just relive the experience of making these records and all these songs, right? So we're gonna get to that. But yeah, next week, probably we'll say Monday or Tuesday, we'll do live album discussions for the jazz and blues album, and then the week following we'll do Hood Tales from the Shadow Realm, which is available in the Super Kami Guru Alucard and SOS Brigade Quartet All Songs playlist, which I will leave in a comment on this video after the broadcast in case y'all want to check it out. That's literally every song I have made in my entire music career, all the ones of Super Kami Guru Alucard and the jazz band all combined. So if y'all ain't heard some of these songs, you can find them all in there. They're all available under the albums, of course, on my channel. But this is just kind of a nice playlist way to find any song you're looking for from me. It's an idea I did for a while ago. And the funny thing is, I did it to help myself get more streaming. Because by having that playlist, I could just loop the playlist and play all my songs, go through every one, and increase the views, which it ain't cheating because you got to bump your own stuff or nobody else is going to bump it. And those views do help generate a little bit of royalties too, right? So from a business aspect, it's, a smart strategy. And like I say, look at it this way. If you ain't going to bump your own shit, why is anybody else going to bump it, right? So that's the reason behind that. But like I say, it's great for fans who want to check out my music, want to look for certain songs, don't know what album certain songs are on, etc. You'll find every song in that playlist. And then as I release more albums, more songs get put into the playlist. Now, next month in May, the DWC album is going to come out. Now, that is an exciting thing I'm going to touch on before we conclude, too, because y'all might want to check out to this if you're fans of the alter egos that appear like The Nine, Little Buckingham, Vlad the Impaler. It's kind of like a collaboration album between all of us because there's songs where Denine gets solos. There's songs where Little Buckingham gets a solo. Vlad the Impaler gets a solo. And they kind of take more of the spotlight with this record than me. Plus, there's a lot more appearances from Kida L, which you don't hear too much with my music, but he's in it. And then Deny, Little Buckingham, Vlad the Impaler. So they're kind of getting the spotlight. Of course, I'm producing it all. I'm rapping on some stuff, doing some choruses, backup vocals, all that. Additional instrumentation. So yeah, it's gonna be a wild album. DWC, the album, District Wentworth Crew. Because yeah, we got Deny, we got Little Buckingham, we got Vlad the Impaler, Kira L, and yours truly, Super Common Guru Alucard. So yeah, definitely look out for that. It's coming next month. Next album live discussions, I will give you more updates on what day that's coming out, but definitely stay tuned for that. It's going to be a hot record. I actually really like how that one turned out because the alter egos actually get a chance to really shine and be their own characters on this album and really get to take the lead in the spotlight. So yeah, that's going to be great. And of course, like I said, next week we'll do the jazz and blues album, live album discussion. Week after we'll do Hood Tales from the Shadow Realm. And after that, then I will do the DWC album live discussion. So the week following that. And then, yeah, like I said, too, for all those who missed the Stephen King book reviews, I know a lot of people like those. Thursday, I will do another book review on The Shining. Now, I've read all these. It's just, I have to sit there. I have to, write out all the categories, give my thoughts on it, try to make it spoiler free because I don't want to ruin the enjoyment of reading the book for other people. But, it takes work. And I've been feeling under the weather because of loneliness and all that. But I'm finally starting to get back into my groove. I feel like even making the top 100 rappers video kind of helped bounce me back from the depression I was going through. So yeah, I'm in better spirits. It's time to get back to work. You dig? And of course, Wednesday, I get to go back to the studio, start working on another album, finish off the last track for Revival. I'm going to start working with a producer named UC to make me some beats with some old school samples. And the cool thing is, we're going to take all really old jazz songs for the beat samples, because I found out copyright wise, this is an interesting fact to all upcoming artists. After something is over 70 years old, it becomes public domain, meaning you can sample it, not get sued or get in any shit at all. So we're going to be picking old jazz records that are over 70 or more years old, and we're going to make some fly ass beats out of them, and we ain't going to have to worry about clearing samples. So he's going to do the sampling thing, take the production side of the record, and then that will really give me the freedom to come up with some dope lyrics and really, pay tribute to all my heroes and my favorite artists as far as jazz artists of the past. You dig? So yeah, it's going to be fresh. Hope y'all look forward to that. And until next time, hope you enjoyed watching Super Kami Guru Alucard. Until next time, peace out. Oyasumi Nasai Minasan. Matane.